Hey guys, what's going on? Jake here, and welcome back to another F1 2022 Alpine career mode video for the Spanish Grand Prix. And as you can see, I was A, time limited because I'd been out, and B, I just didn't really want to race in Spain, so I've only gone for a 25% race today, which is what most people run anyway. And we put a new component on just before practice, in which we only had 30 minutes for each session, but we still got 742 points to Fernando's 450. So then, into qualifying we go. First lap, we set a 120.074, which is very, very poor from me. And then in this lap, guys, I would say we could have gained another 3/10 in this lap. So that would have put us on a 19.5 or something. And then coming into our final lap of the session, boys, we need to try get through now into Q2. Going again, because I know there were a lot of mistakes. As you can see, already gaining a tenth, but then running a bit too narrow and just ruining it, because I then run wide, and I don't know, I just kind of bottled the start of this lap. And then moving into this section, we just keep losing time and losing time and losing time. It's just, I don't know what's going on, but don't worry, boys, it'll be fine. We can claw this back. We can gain, like, I'd say we could have gained another 4 tenths overall. But as you can see here, we get a bit wide there, and then we get on the sausage curb and we spin, putting us out of qualifying in P17. Fernando only got P13 though, but I'd say if we could have gained those 4 tenths, we would have been ahead of Fernando in that session. So yeah, it is what it is, boys, and unfortunately that is it for our session.
Saw Max Verstappen take victory on his... Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. It's Sergio Perez on pole today, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Carlos Sainz, and Leclerc, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ricciardo, and Valtteri Bottas, Gasly, Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, and Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Vettel, Cox, and Alex Albon, Joe, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
So then, boys, into the race we go. More than likely gonna go softs, hards to softs this race. So just gonna set that up now. And obviously gonna run low fuel. And we're going to make sure that our setups, tyre pressures are on absolutely minimum. And, yeah, but one thing I will say is that we had superior straight line speed in this race. However, our cornering speed meant we lost a lot of that time. If we were in a train, we would have been fine. But we kind of just fell off the back of the cars ahead, and we couldn't catch back up, basically. But yeah, we tried this method that people have been talking about, where you do a couple of spins on the end of the formation lap, because the cars ghost anyway. And it warms up your rear tyres. So what I decided to do is I decided to then do that very well and then bottle the fucking parking. Brilliant. So yeah, there was nothing I could do. I just messed up my parking space after getting a very good heated tyres. But it doesn't really matter anyway, despite our terrible parking position. So our first phase isn't great, but then our second phase, boys, we are blitzing, using ERS, getting in the slipstream of the cars ahead, and we make a big dive into turn 1, past everyone into P11. We've got Pierre Gasly on our inside now, so we need to leave him a bit of room when we do so, but he backs off a bit, and we leave some space on the inside, and Yuki's on the inside, and ends up getting ahead of us. And coming into this corner, oh, why have we skipped? I don't even know why we skipped, and we're ahead of Tsunoda. We must have made a dive bomb into that left-hander after the right-hander. I'm so confused at what just happened. Maybe, my footage is corrupting again, but it's fine, because we're on the back straight, and looks like Tsunoda's going to get past again, but no, we use our straight line speed and ERS. We stay ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So, yeah, we've managed to stay ahead so far. Still, Yuki trying to have a look at us. Obviously, we are on the mediums, and everyone else is on a superior compound of tyres. I definitely should have started on the softs, boys. If I had started on the softs, because like when I got on the softs, as you'll see, I just couldn't make inroads. So like, I probably should have started on the softs, and even like it doesn't help when you're like doing stuff like that as well, and you're just costing yourself and the cars around you times. You can't catch back up to them and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just a struggle, boys. It was just a bit of a struggle. But yeah, I mean, race pace was better than quality pace. I mean, our race pace wasn't terrible. We just couldn't really make inroads due to all the mistakes, because this track's very easy to make mistakes on. We end up skipping to lap 7 because nothing much happens. We just pull away from Tsunoda and Schumacher we get them out of a second. We keep them out of a second for a few laps, and that's all that really happens. We're gaining some position through pit stops. And now moving on to the next lap, we got Max Verstappen right behind us here. And we've got Sergio Perez coming out the pits ahead of us. We'll run a little bit wide there. Is Max going to be on the back of us? We're going to have a little look back in a minute, I guess. Yep, he's right behind us. And we've got Checo coming out the pits now. So it's important for us to not lose time and stay ahead of Checo. And we go round the outside of Checo as he comes out the pits. I know it's not technically a competitive race and move, as this is not our race. But we managed to get ahead of both of Checo there. And it was a pretty nice sweeping move. To the next lap, Checo has gone off behind us, so I was thinking it was a mechanical issue, so we're going to take a look. We're going to use this moment now to take a look at what's gone on. And yes, we've got Verstappen right behind us now because Checo is gone, and as you can see, we're just watching this. Checo, he just gets spooked by us a bit and just goes off the track, which is very weird. But as you can see, on to lap 10, we got Verstappen and Russell down our inside. It's going to be 3 wide. I've got the call. I'm ahead of them. I'm ahead of them. But they go 3 wide and they knock me wide anyway, which then puts me off completely. I've got Max on the inside, so I can't really do much. I go wide. I get a bit of understeer, and all 3 go past me. So I lose 3 positions in 1 corner. But next lap we decide to box with the softs. And yes, it was a pretty decent speed limiter entry. And can we get optimal turn in? We've been getting pretty good at that, and yes, we do. We get optimal turn in. See what kind of pit stop we can bolster here at the team. 2.4 seconds, which is okay, I guess. It's nothing special. But yeah, we take that. So yeah, as we come out the pits, we're going to rejoin in P10 behind Kevin Magnussen, who, I mean, I don't know how Vettel's got ahead of Schumacher, but we were ahead of Schumacher before the pit stops. So that is just fair, and moving on to lap 12. Daniel Norris is now at the session, which means we are going to move him to P9. But of course, we are going to have a look at what happened to Norris, because there were a lot of cars around him when he retired. However, I'm safe to say that no other cars got damage, unfortunately for me, and it was just a mechanical failure for Lando Norris, which is unfortunate for him. He's using like P7, so my teammate moves up into P7, and there we go. So moving on to lap 15 now, we've got Seb Vettel all over the back of us. We're pulling away from Schumacher, I think battling with Tsunoda, but we are just pulling away from him. And we got Vettel behind us. We're going to battle Vettel for position because we can't catch up to Magnussen. And at this point I was like, you know, screw it, let's just battle Seb, have a bit of fun. And I know Seb's going to give me respectful racing because his AI is experienced and is coded to really not ram you off the track like Max Verstappen's did and like Checo's did. I'm definitely not salty about that. But yeah, moving on to lap 16 now. We got Seb Vettel right behind us now. However, our straight line speed and dubious use of VRS, we've got nothing left. And then we cut Seb off a little bit, making him have no way to get past or no way to make a dive bomb. And we stay ahead. So now on to the last lap. We still got Vettel right behind. But no, actually, Vettel's been overtaken by Schumacher on the final lap. I can't remember what happened. I think that Vettel went wide at the fast right-hander that the AROP at. And Schumacher got ahead and he almost overtakes us on the line. But we end up getting P9, which is 2 points. Which, from starting P17, isn't bad. And you're about to see daylight robbery with this driver of the day, boys. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Robbery. Kevin Magnussen went from P14 to like P8 and got driver of the day. I went from P17 to P9 and I didn't get driver of the day. Absolute daylight robbery. But it is Max Verstappen who wins the race due to that Sergio Perez mistake when he was behind us. And yeah, that is that. Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. So yeah, so it is Verstappen from Russell from Leclerc, and yeah, that is that for this race, boys. That is that for this race. So overall, it was a very big struggle. I mean, in quali, we could have set a decent lap, but I just wasn't really warmed up or in the groove with the track at the time. I actually just hopped on and did it. So my quali times were very poor, unfortunately. But that is going to be that. Alonso ended up getting P6. He was behind Sergio Perez, and we ended up getting P9. So it was decent points for the team. And we did have Bottas, who was in the top 10 before the pit stop. So I don't know what happened to him, but he ended up making 2 stops, along with Lewis Hamilton, who also made 2 stops, which allowed us to gain those positions as well as a DNF. So, I mean, it's okay. In the driver standings, we are still P4. We are on 58 points. We're still ahead of Sainz, Russell, and Hamilton. But that won't last for long, considering that I'm like end of top 10 now, and Alpine have dropped to still third in the constructors actually somehow. But yeah, and as you can see, we lose out on the rivalry to Russell because Russell's in a faster car now, and yeah, ever since the new patch, boys, the AI are just really OP, and they are just ahead of me now. There's nothing much I can do unless I turn the AI down to 75, which might make it a bit more competitive, but I think this is pretty realistic. Me just battling for the edge points every race, I mean, it makes sense, as being in the Alpine, we're not the fastest, we're like battling with McLaren, kind of, but not really. So yeah. That is that for the race. We're going to make a couple of upgrades, and that'll be that for today's episode. It's kind of a short one for an F1 episode, but it is what it is, boys. And yes, we are now the fourth best car behind Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. However, moving into Baku, we will drop to the 5th fastest car, which means in theory we should be the 9th and 10th cars on the grid. So that makes a lot of sense with me finishing P9 last race. So you cannot come at me too much. But if I had got the quali lap in, I would have got into Q2. Maybe I would have got myself sorted out and into Q3. But we never know. But we make a couple of upgrades here and there. And that is going to be that for this episode. So yeah, the chassis upgrade comes in. We get some more weekly resources. We have a durability event to go to now. I didn't know what this was about. I mean, I couldn't see if there was a positive outcome or a negative outcome for choosing these options. So I just chose the one that seemed positive, the one that went against me as a person, because I can deal with critical feedback where I think the AI couldn't, and it would probably negatively impact my claim on the team or something. So yeah, as you can see, moving into Baku, McLaren make big steps, and we are now the 5th fastest car on the grid. Oh dear. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode, boys. Thank you for watching. Drop a like, subscribe, obviously. Leave a comment, and just basically how terrible my race pace was. I'll take the criticism. But yeah, we got Baku next, which should be a better circuit for me.